Hi, Warriors. How's everyone doing this morning? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Like I said a few weeks ago, I think the market's going to be made or broken based upon NVIDIA's earnings. NVIDIA is the market to a certain degree. I believe that's Wednesday. So, um, heads up. AJ, hi. Mike, Andrew, Steve. Hi, Blake, James, Kman,
Morning, Coach.
Raymond. Hey, buddy. Bran, how are you? Ryan, how are you? Rob Adlin, good morning to you. Hugo, Glenn, Laura. Okay.
And Coach, we've been finding out over the weekend that we're going to be getting
Met,
some of that data this week. Some of the
yeah,
data that we've been so yearning for.
yeah, we'll have an NFP. Is it like the prior's month's NFP or
I
two
think it's
months old?
September, right? Right, Ryan?
Yeah, September data.
So
Okay,
so we're going to get September of 2022 data on Thursday.
2022. Well, I look forward to trading on that
Yeah.
in my time machine.
I'll get
Uh,
that. I'll get that number right in our competition. I can tell you.
before we get to the markets, I want to throw this out to you guys. I saw something that the Fed had a surprise emergency meeting Thursday. I think it was reported in the Financial Times, must have leaked. Have you guys heard about it? And if so, any idea about, what were they worried about the repo, what's happening in the repo market, the overnight market? First of all, did you guys hear about that?
What more news you mean? Or
No, they had a meeting, an emergency meeting Thursday, the Fed.
hang on, this wasn't one of those expedited meetings, was it? They, I haven't heard of
I
it. I'd have to look. I'll
I
have to look
haven't
into it.
either.
Okay. Anyway, that's I heard that they did, and anyway, it was a secret till leaked in the Financial Times. So let's just move ahead to the currencies. Euro's under a little pressure here. I don't know. I look at this, and are we going to form a big head and shoulders bottom? Left shoulder came in here around 1580, and we all know that 1550 is a big area. To me, I don't know if this smacks of um, a major top and a break to new low. To me, it almost feels like I should be looking for a place to buy it. Why don't I start with you, Ryan? Where's your head on euro? Even though today, euro pound is under pressure.
Yeah, I think we're just in the wash now. While we wait for some of this data, the market's balanced in terms of what it wants from the Fed or what it's expecting from the Fed in December. We're 50-50 on whether they cut or hold. And now we're going to finally see some evidence as to whether whether the Fed's justified in what they did in October. We'll know that by the September data, and whether this data is going to flip the expectations to one end of the scale or the other. So I think that we're probably going to see the market maybe doing a bit of treading water until we get some of that data.
Okay, and we're treading water and cable until the budget.
Yeah, could we? Well, budget and what happens with the US data as well.
Okay,
Again, I would not really be trading the budget through cable because of what's happening with obviously the everything in the US and as well as the budget. And
okay,
I just looked it up, by the way, Dale. It was Feds Williams, the New York Fed president. He had a meeting with banks last week just to talk about the short-term lending facility. I wouldn't call it an emergency meeting as maybe
okay,
some are reporting it, but it was a meeting nevertheless. But
okay,
this is all part of what the Fed are doing. They want to shift liquidity and bank liquidity away from some of the other programs into other programs as well, because we're past the QE and COVID and GFC liquidity side of things. So they want to move into other areas that are more manageable.
okay. All right. Thanks for checking that out. Yeah, sometimes the titles on news like this tends to be a little hyperbolic to get
Yeah,
clicks, right?
exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, I know I do it all the time. Gold's going to 50,000. Check this out, right? Anyway,
Exactly.
how you getting that? Instead of 10 views, I get 10,000.
Yeah,
So,
but we don't do it enough.
okay. So, thanks, Brian. Anything pressing, or you kind of just, let's see what the market does for a day or so? Are you doing anything with the yen? It looks like it wants to push to new highs here.
Yeah, we were looking at the yen this morning because this one might be a very good two-way trade this week because we've got big stuff happening in the US and because we've got big stuff happening in Japan. This might be a pair that's going to move on the dollar side of things when we're in sort of US trading, and then it will switch to trading the yen side of things when we're in Asia. So if we're getting dips in this pair on the data or anything else in the US session, we might find it rallies in the Asia session, and then we move around a bit. But we're starting to get some numbers through from Japan in terms of how much fiscal spending there might be doing. We're sort of ballparking around 20 trillion yen at the moment via various sources. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what's real and what they are going to do.
And that carries a lot more weight than the what the prime minister said about Taiwan that China's pissed off about.
Oh yeah, China's well pissed off about that, and but I think there's probably going to be a bit of dialing back on that from the Japanese side. Maybe they've sent someone over to China to maybe smooth the water. But yeah, if we get a big break of this 155 and it's quickly up, 156 or 157, a volatile move, I think we're banging intervention territory.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Good to
Pleasure,
hear
mate.
your voice. Good to hear your voice, buddy. So, good morning, Kman. How are you today?
Morning, Dale. Morning, everybody.
What has your attention? You paying attention to this bounce in metals, and have you started to think about what you might want to do in the?
Yeah, I think we are going to see more of a yo-yo before the numbers come out. I've got a really decent support there around 4,004, 420. And the funny, oh, okay,
Right
yeah,
here.
so, yeah, and I equally think that around 41.30.50 we should run into a bit of resistance as well. So that's kind of, and we can hardly pin it down to a tighter range, but I think that's about
Yeah.
your max $150. I say
Okay.
until we get into the data, because as already said, those data should get the bond market and money managers provide with new numbers to put in their models, and should bond markets start moving again, and on the back of it, everything will move, but the metals as well. Interesting on
Okay.
silver, and it yeah last Friday I was thinking about, are we not just transposing the, we had this big setback from 54.5 down to 45, and then you take about the
Yeah.
middle was the prior high, and a big zone at around 50, and it seems that we have gone from the bottom half to the top half of the range. So had a couple of tries to get back down to 50. It held, and so that's interesting for me on those ones. Yeah, it's just a little lower. I've got a big level anyway around 50,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I
it,
mean, it was
it's all
big.
around, huh?
Yeah, it was big back here, and
Yes, but yeah,
still.
I've got it maybe a little lower, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just 50, so psychologic anyway. And so if you take 45.50 on the one hand and 50.54.5, 55 on the other, we're back in the top half, and
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
For the rest, what am I doing? Yeah, but it's just an intraday play, on the back of more budget talks in Japan, and Takeichi having like all those fiscal doves on her panel. But I'm just playing Dolly in from the long side, but I'm is just jobbing around, from the long side again. But no, and actually, apart from my long Euro Swiss that I bought on the back of the trade deal and the investments that Switzerland promises into the US, I have very, very little running right now. I'm waiting for opportunities.
Okay. Understand that you don't have to do everything every day. Every day.
Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah, you have to wait for the setups. Like great surfers don't
yeah.
try and catch every wave.
But I mean, since I'm
You
not too
know.
much of a surfer, I compare it to going to the restaurant. It's not because you look at the whole menu that you have to eat everything, right?
Right, and it's kind of also like you don't have to say everything you think.
Yeah, yeah.
Ever,
But
ever, ever.
most of the time, we think much more than what we think, and then we regret it
Right.
straight away afterwards.
Yeah, I know, bro. It's that's why I think it's a great saying. But it can keep you out of trouble if you're aware of it.
Yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about the S&Ps because it was like Groundhog Day, wasn't it, Blake? And this is
really, yeah,
Kman's, yeah, and this is
really good haul.
Kman's line. It held, but the difference was the time of day it started. This started right away, early in the day, and it didn't have the kind of close where it was really pinned at the highs of the day to set up a gap higher opening. So there are a couple differences. We're not gapping higher. Okay, so it may have been the same Friday, so people are probably, you know, figured. In fact, I heard I was doing an interview on Friday, and I forgot the guy's name, but he writes a column, and he said that it's good to go into Monday long because Trump likes to, have a good start to the market, and we usually have decent up days on Monday. It started out that way last night. I think we're up 20 handles in Asia, but now we're down 20.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Blake? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say Friday's lows, and I said this in the week ahead video. It's actually the title is the bull bear line has been drawn, and we
Yeah,
know exactly where this market turns bearish, and that's a good thing. I mean,
yeah,
price action is really for us. It helps us, figure key levels like this out. We know now if we break Friday's lows and we get a daily close below it, I wouldn't want
yeah,
to be long. And
yeah,
I pulled up some statistics. Nick Groves, he's working on his AI system that's really good at actually pulling up statistics. And just looking at the last four Novembers, I mean, the market's up quite substantially. And like I said, I showed it on our week ahead video. And a lot of people are playing into that right now. They're like, hey, it's just, November's a good month. We should rally. That we had one off November a few years ago, but other than that, market's always up. So a
yeah,
lot of people are probably playing into that seasonality. And the fact of the matter is, if we break below it, it's gonna hurt. A lot of traders that are just positioned long. And so I love it that we know where it's at because you're right. Nvidia is coming out on Wednesday after the market close, and that is the market. Nvidia is the market. So,
yeah,
Nvidia hasn't earnings hasn't been as explosive as we've seen in recent quarters. So we see the markets becoming more just more particular about, yeah, what that's great. Your earnings are great, but what are you going to do for us moving forward? And so I think Wednesday is going to be a very definitive day in
yeah.
the markets.
It is, and maybe the foreshadowing of what the S&Ps are going to do is Nasdaq did take out the low. It recovered, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
took out
So
the
false
low.
breakdown, but yeah,
Then rallied right back to this. Anyway, Nasdaq doesn't look that good to me. And the other thing I think that might be a market tell is the Russell doesn't look so good. Okay, I mean the Russell's been under pretty good pressure from here. I think it's given up quite a lot compared to the S&Ps.
yep.
So you're not getting this, and maybe this is rates. Rates have been stubborn after the easing. So And also, one other thing that I think is important in the market that started last week was the financials look like they're topping. Here's the XLF, hasn't made a new high in quite some time. Been putting in some type of rounding top going back to the summer. So, there are credit card companies in the XLF, but then you look at B of A, massive divergence, pretty ugly week. And I know there was news related to JP Morgan because Epstein was having parties in the lobby of JPM. So let's see where it is, but it put in a key reversal week. I mean, the news is related, but also Goldman had a bad day. And, they've been leaders on the way up, which speaks towards, financial stability. And here's JP Morgan.
Are you sure it wasn't JT Marlin?
I worked there, Blake, so I would know. All right. And I'm telling you, man, the spreads on their penny stocks was unbelievable. You could buy a stock that was $1, and on the bid is 50 cents, and on the offer it's $1.50.
Well, I don't think you got my
So
JT Marlin reference
no,
joke.
no, yeah, it was in
JT
the boiler
Marlin was
room,
the
boiler
broker
room.
in what was the cold calling movie?
Oh,
Shoot, what was
boiler
it?
room.
Boiler Room.
Boy,
Yeah, that
yeah,
JT Marlin.
yeah. I did. I watched that movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Giovanni Ribisi, he closed his poker room to do that. But
Oh, such a
anyway,
great movie.
yeah, I
Great
know.
flick.
So check this out. Look at this weekly last week in JP Morgan.
Yeah,
That doesn't look so good. And then, Goldman, yeah, I wouldn't be buying this stuff up here. So, I think you have to keep an eye on the financials now too. That would not be a good sign for the market short term either.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so why don't you grab them, buddy? And
All right.
I have to go see my sales manager at JT Marlin this morning. I know he says I
Dude,
have.
we're gonna bring in the closer
I'm
right now.
not.
So
He said,
so
Dale, you haven't been on the board for about 2 months.
do you remember having those sales boards? I mean, as a
Yeah.
broker, I do. I mean, it's like, and I remember being, the junior broker, and I'm like looking at all these guys. I'm like, dude, these guys have done $50,000 this week in business, and here I
Yeah.
am like scrambling around to get like $1,000 and trying to get somebody to buy some, like
And
10 shares of a stock. It's ridiculous.
and
Anyway,
kid, go get me some coffee. You're on the bubble.
yeah,
You're on the bubble.
I ran a lot. I
All
ran a
right.
lot those years. Anyway, all right. So we are seeing equities. I want to show. Speaking of equities, really quick, I want to go over to the S&P. Oh, actually, I want to go over to the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq 100, just so you can see, we had this head and shoulder pattern. Really, as Dale pointed out, we had a lower low. The bounce actually stalled at the 618 retracement today. So, when we had the market open, we basically hit the 618, and, I wouldn't say we're rolling over, but, we're holding lower, and that's going to be really important. And as we're just talking about, this market is really going to be driven by what happens on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a big deal. And I don't want to say nothing else matters, because we are getting data. Um, Data will be released, throughout the course of the week. We're finally going to start getting some, we have the ADP data, weekly data. And Ryan, do you think people are going to be paying attention to this ADP data anymore?
No, because no one understands it. No one knows what it
Right.
means.
So everybody's going to be looking. I wonder if we're going to get weekly unemployment claims this week. So
We may do.
yeah. So again, I think we're all kind of, trying to figure it out. But I did want to point out earnings. So Nvidia will be after market close on Wednesday. Just to make sure you guys know that that's going to be like a big deal. I mean, yes, there's other companies that are reporting. A lot of retailers. You can see Home Depot, Target, TJ Maxx, Lowe's. Those are big to kind of give us a little bit of a idea of what the consumer's doing. We got Walmart on Thursday. But everybody's gonna be focused on Nvidia overall, and that's gonna be the big one. But yeah, we've got other data coming out this week. Like I said, hopefully we get the weekly unemployment claims. What other data are we going to be looking at, Kman? Do you know of anything that you've heard that we should be aware of?
We've got some UK data out as well later in the week, the retail sales and couple of other things which we have on Wednesday. We have CPI as well. So yeah, there's a couple of interesting things going on in the sterling as well before we run really into the budget in 10 days.
Okay, so the budget's in 10 days.
Uh,
And Ryan, both of you guys have been warning trading sterling because of the budget, right?
mm-hmm.
Or around the budget at this point. At this
Yeah, for the
point,
time being, it's quieting down a bit. So we first have to get over the hump of US data now, and those UK CPIs and the retail sales, which are going to play their own role in what's going to happen next week. So I think the market is taking a little bit of a step back this morning, and early this week for everything sterling concerns.
got it. Okay. Well, and one of the other things that we're going to be getting a little bit later this week is we're going to be at the very end of the week, we're going to get UK Eurozone PMIs, and I think we should be getting US PMIs
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So I know it's S&P data anyway, but so that's going to be some pretty important data right at the very end of the week, just to see if we still have US exceptionalism or not. I mean, I don't know if that's still a thing, but
We get Empire today. We also get Philly Fed on Thursday. So we will be getting some up-to-date data.
Yeah, speaking of which, and we're gonna have the U.S. Or Canadian CPI due out in about 7-8 minutes too, which and Empire State Manufacturing, which is gonna be great. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing some of this data move. Now, one of the things Michael Brown was talking about this in the chat room, and I just want to show you guys this as well. The Bank of Canada. I mean, I don't know what's going to move expectations here, but as you guys can see, expectations for a move on interest rates is pretty much nothing. So do you guys think that this inflation data is going to do anything for the markets today? What do you think, Ryan?
If it's a big mover, we know the Bank of Canada are probably on hold now. The jobs picture's looking strong, so that was okay. That'll keep them going. Yeah, so if inflation ticks up a bit, that'll keep on probably on hold for a bit longer. But unless it's a real big variation to the numbers, probably not going to do a lot.
I want to just show you guys really quick. If you take this low right here, this is the dollar CAD. Remember, I'm looking at it as a big base has been developed, and we're breaking higher out of that base. It's been kind of slow going, but that's probably more due to the dollar than anything. But if you take this low back from the end of October to the recent highs, we had this double top here when we hit channel resistance. You can see how we hit the 618 last week. We came out of this wedge. Upside has been fairly limited. And I know I talked a lot about this on the week ahead video because one of the trade setups that I discussed was the dollar CAD, but it's the break above this 38% retracement, excuse me, which I think would be a big deal if we get above 140.50, which we're only 25 pips away from. I don't know if the Canadian or if the CPI is going to do it, but maybe if the data is really weak, maybe it is what gooses this thing a little bit. Kman, do you have any thoughts on Canadian data as we head into it?
No, same thing as Ryan said. We need to get a number which is enough away from expectations because the Bank of Canada has gone into pause mode, and so for them to change something, we need data that make them change, right?
Yeah.
So, but let's not forget as well that Canadian Bank of Canada's interest rates now are well below those of the dollar. So a weakish number may see things moving around a little bit.
So
Um, Yeah,
Some of the things that people tend to forget, and Dale, you know this pretty well, is if you know the dollar CAD might be stuck because of data, but what really moves the dollar CAD, in my opinion, is volatility. If you see volatility pick up, which by the way, you know, as of Friday, volatility was, you know, trading in the 20 range. Volatility starts to pick up, that gooses the dollar CAD. That's one of those things that I always watch for. If we start to see a tick up in volatility, when volatility rises, you'll see spikes in the dollar CAD, and that's something that I always like to look out for, especially when
Yeah.
we're yearning for moves based on data right now, which we're not really getting. Hey, real quick, I did want to bring this up because I do think this is a very big deal right now. Is you know, the underperformance, and I know we've talked a lot about this, guys, the underperformance of Bitcoin. Bitcoin trades and looks like hell. And if this is like one of the major risk proxies that people look at, just keep in mind we are a major support right now. I mean, the look at Bitcoin, just that's the last time we revisited that 70,000 level. Remember, we were only down there for, I wanted to buy Bitcoin that day, but we went from 75,000 to 80,000 like literally in 15 minutes. I didn't have time to, you know, even get over to my Coinbase account and start, you know, buying down there. So I missed that. I felt like I missed it. I obviously I should have just bought it anyway. I didn't. You know, when you miss $5,000 move like that, you're like, I missed it. But you know, obviously we went to all-time highs after that. Anyway, you can see Bitcoin's at the 618 retracement. We're really critical horizontal support. If this breaks, you know, let's just call it 93,000-ish because we're at the 618 right now. We break 93,000-ish. There's like zero support. This is like a trap door for Bitcoin. Like you break below that, there's nothing holding it up. And you can see even this last move when we went from 85,000 to basically 93,000. That move happened within less than 24 hours, you know, or 24 hours, maybe 36 hours. So we could very easily just give it up to the mid 80s on a breakdown, but that would probably coincide with risk appetite too. So I really think you guys should be looking at Bitcoin. I don't want to buy it here. Although, you know, from a risk reward point of view, this is the place to buy it if you really, you know, are looking for a trade. But if we trip those stops below 92,000, I think it's going to get rather ugly kind of quickly. So just something I wanted to
Ethereum,
talk about.
yeah, and Ethereum's demonstrating more relative strength. It still hasn't taken out its crash low. Oh, now it has. Okay,
Yeah, and
yeah,
you know,
took a
I've
lot.
had a lot of discussions about this on the Morning Edge, which is our show, you know, right after here is Tom Lee's got a huge position in Ethereum. Those institutional traders were buying Ethereum above 4,000. And he's got a 1.2 trillion dollar position in Ethereum. Think about what happens if Ethereum goes, let's just call it from 4,100 and it drops back down to 1,500. I mean,
Yeah,
you lose 70%
75%.
of
Yeah.
1.2 trillion. I mean, that's, you know, unhappy
Oh,
investors right there.
oh, and I
Unhappy.
found out Kman Michael Burry closed his fund because he's opening a family office. He doesn't want to deal with regulators and have his positions be under scrutiny. So it wasn't like he took big hits and just sent out all the money to people. He just went, he's going to a family office instead. It's not like, okay, I get markets don't make sense. I'm done. Here's your money. So anyway, that's what I found out about him.
Mm.
So he could
That's what
still
he
be
said
in.
himself, though.
That's not what he said?
That
Oh,
is what he said.
oh, okay.
He said, "I don't I don't understand the valuation, so I'm closing my fund."
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
by the way, Peter Thiel,
yeah,
the he
yeah.
sold his whole Nvidia position over Q3 as well.
Wow. And did he buy more Palantir?
I don't know,
Yeah. Okay.
but that means
Wow.
that the Nvidia market is a lot emptier, so it can go either way.
Here
Well,
we go.
yeah.
Data out in 3 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Okay. No, it's all
Dollar
right.
index to the left.
Slightly
Slightly lower.
hotter than
Strong.
expected. 2.1 expected, CPI 2.2. Empire came in better, 18.7 versus 5.8 expected.
Stronger Canadian CPI. Dollar
No,
CAD
not
dipped
really.
briefly. Well, I mean,
Median
the
is
core month over month.
no median is a bit lower. Common is same as last month.
Oh yeah, I guess the year over year. All right.
Trend
the
is
main
also
core went
1/10
up.
lower.
The main core went up to 2.9% from 2.8.
Yeah. That Empire State Manufacturing data, how is that recent data? That's the
Yeah,
this
yes, November, because
it
it's a
is November.
it's a
Okay.
Fed number. It's a regional Fed number.
Got
It's
it.
very
Well, you know,
volatile.
dollar likes it. Euro's trading back on its lows, but you can see the dollar index is right up against a lot of resistance here. S&P's, sitting on its lows, Nasdaq 100's on its lows. Actually, Dow's fresh lows on the session, and yields are ticking higher. Well, hey, it's nice to have data, right, guys?
Yep, even though it's small
Woohoo!
stuff.
All right. Well, again, you can grab that data if you just go over to Forex Analytics, you go over to calendar, you click calendar, you'll get the data flash. The data flash, it all comes up here, just like if you had a Bloomberg terminal. That's it. That is included with Forex Analytics alongside Live Squawk and all this analysis that we do every day. So if you want to be in the chat rooms with all of us, all you have to do is join Forex Analytics. You'll know that I'm short euro dollar. You can see I'm short and got short a little bit earlier this morning around the 116 level. And if you want to follow along some of our positions, you can do so and chat with us literally all day long and get different headlines and news stories that we're talking about in the room. So Dale, is your guest here?
Yes, can you please promote Nargis?
Let me see if I can do it. I will see if I can, or somebody else can help me. Let me see if I can get over there.
Because I'm not the host.
I don't know if I'm the host either, but I'll try. Okay, I am a co-host, so I have see if I can bring her over right now.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Well, as she comes over, I want to thank everybody for being here. Kman, Ryan, you guys rock in the morning.
Thank you,
I love
guys.
listening to you guys in the morning because helps me get prepared as soon as I wake up. I just listen to the Flow Show recording. If you guys have an opportunity to listen to them live, make sure you do so. And Nargis, you have to
Accept it.
accept the.
There she goes.
Okay, here she comes. All right. And Dale, thank you so much for always being here every day and guiding us every day. And guys, we'll see you on the morning edge in about 42 minutes from right now.
Okay, thank you, Dream Team.
Cheers, everyone.
All right, appreciate it. Ryan came in, Blake. It's hard to find a better group of guys that
Thank you, Dale.
are very good market tacticians and care about people at the same time. So that's a rare combination in the business. So we have Nargis Motorwalla with us again today. So we see your screen, Nargis. How have you been?
Hey, good morning, Dale. How are you? And how is
Great.
everybody else?
Everyone's hanging in there and the strange world we're operating in. So you want to start with S&Ps and
Yeah.
what do you think? Are we vulnerable here? What would it take for you to be looking for lower numbers with your
So I
technical
would,
work?
yeah. So generally I go by my level. So this 67.25 has been, holding so far in terms of closing and trading session. So I will look for weakness below 67.25. So far along this line, it has been holding. And though Nasdaq broke the low, ES had held the low and it is
Right.
trading up. Yeah. So
Do you
and
have a
then 60
bias
bias in the sense
of
it,
short and then above the resistance that you just identified?
yes. So as long as we are above 67 to 67.25, it may try to, go higher because In overnight also it hit 6,800, and that's there. But if it loses this, then 66.55 is where it has been holding, and then it exposes us to all this, here,
Yeah.
6,500 and maybe lower. So that's what I'm going by. Below this, look for weakness and then break 66.55, the previous lows. Nasdaq also, 2,500 is kind of holding. 24,337 was the cycle for Nasdaq, and it has been kind of holding that and trying to, regain 25,000. But still, again, this is where it is kind of holding 25,000 and 24,337. So once it breaks, you have early 2400s to 23,700s. So this whole um, structure gets exposed. Mostly this NQ and I mean they are heavy. They are heavy on the monthly and higher time frames, but so far it's just releasing the pressure on the smaller time frames like 100, points. It goes down and then back to normal as if nothing happened. So that has been the narrative until that narrative breaks and you have follow-ups going breaking continuously red. uh, we can still assume that the lows will be held or it'll bounce back, those kind of things. RTY, poor
Okay.
thing, it did try for above 2,500, but then it puked back from 2,566, and it is testing back 2,330 from above. It is holding it. So as long as it's holding here, will it try for again 2,500 to 2,700? So somewhere here. This is what I'm looking for. Again, everyone is kind of, just holding on. YM also 47, 40, yeah, 46 is, yeah, 4,700. And then it makes it vulnerable till 45 somewhere, this demand zone. So, they do have some nice chunk to lose if, they break the stuff. But so
Hmm.
far, things are kind of holding on. Gold,
Okay.
gold
Okay.
hit, 43.57, and it did some higher around 43.90, and that's where it pulled back, and the volatility has subsided and it's more kind of a range bound right now. So 4,000 or 4,065, it is kind of holding on. But assume, let's say, if it is a bearish ABC, then probably it may come down to 37.21, 37.50. And below that, it may test 3,400. That's there. But it's kind of hanging around 4,000 for now. So, its parts. Above this, it'll try a higher, and below this, that 3,700, 3,750 gets exposed. Again, with time will tell whether, it's bearish ABC or, it is just sideways for some time. Um, that's there. But again, I was looking at, uh, I mean, it is a straight line, no wonder. And RSIs are very heavy on it. All the higher time frame RSIs are heavy. So, sooner or later they do react to it. Now, the smaller time frames all got normalized by puking 300, 300, 350 points on the daily, weekly. So they are good. So they can hold on a little bit longer. And, if 3,700 or 3,400 holds, it may try again for 5,000 or as close to 5,000 as possible. Our
So,
crude oil, sorry.
um, are any of these things besides naming a technical level that if it penetrates, it'll do this, or if it moves above it, it'll do this? Any of these things actionable enough that you're compelled to
Yes.
take positions in?
Yes. So actually, I had shorted gold at 43.90 and 43.75, but I'm out of it now because it's chomping. Um, Actually, we did long it from the support and played that. So basically, I'm mostly trading right now for the lack of the good chunk of movement. uh S&P, I did long it earlier on Friday, and and I think I exited at the 43 6 sorry 67.90. So that's there, and I'm waiting for, today what happens to see and trade that one. Below 67.25, I'll short it again and look to see if it breaks. Look to see if it breaks here. So far, this is bounceable for me. So I'll
Yeah.
bounce it and see if it goes up below this. This whole chunk is there to short and come down to 66, at least 66, 80, 70, the previous low. So that's there.
Okay. So
And
what
I know a lot of
you're
people.
showing WTI, I think you were showing.
Yeah. Sorry, CL, poor thing, can't get a break as of now. It's stuck in a range. Um, I don't know if you remember, a few interviews ago, we had talked that the gold may look for 50. It did come to 55 and kind of holding here, but unfortunately, it can't go below, can't stay above 60, 63, 65. And of course, 70s is still a big problem for it. Will it like it above? I don't know yet, because for some reason, gold has been pressure to keep it down uh, for whatever reason. Of course, it's Trump's favorite thing to say. The oil is down. It's under $1 or under $2. If I'm not wrong, though I haven't seen that under $2 anywhere. So I'm not sure. But this is one of the things, to be politically correct. Oil is down, inflation is down, prices are coming down. So it's a good narrative to say that. So maybe that is the reason they're still keeping it under the lid. But sooner or later, this lid needs to, try and go up. How it is still traversing again along these two black lines. So below 59, I guess, you still have this weakness, and above 63, you have to look for long. And that's what I'm waiting for now. It's all chop zone in between 3 4 points. You can go and do, small trading between 15 minutes or 30 minutes, get few points and be happy. But a swing is not clear. It's not there yet. So I'm just holding on to it, mostly just looking at, where it is and all that stuff. uh, Nvidia is the one for this week. The big thing, I think people are waiting for it. And one thing was Nvidia's cycle target, which I had, was 2 to 5, and it hit 211. So the offset is 197 to 241, 197, 225, and 241. So the cycle target was 225, and it hit the lower. It hit the lower offset. So for all practical purposes, we can say it has hit the cycle, though a little bit lower number, but it did hit that. Now, unless and until it takes out 241, it hasn't reset the cycle to a higher price target. And it has ran a lot. So what happens around this 185? That 185 is something, it's kind of line in the sand. So below 185, your 170s to 153 is exposed. This 153 is where um, your a lot of chomping, and then a breakout happened, and you got some very good candles here. 153 was hit few times, and then it puked to 83, 86, and then from there on it went all the way, brand new highs and all that. So 153 is where I would draw the line, and 185, how it is trading here. Um, if Nvidia comes down to 153, it would be a very good, it would be a good thing to, release some of the pressure, and that's where I would look to go long from this support and go higher, or look for, stay above 200 for 225. In between, it's going to jump, and since lot of interest will be there in Nvidia, to, people will be looking at it, what it's going to do. I think lot of premium kill can happen. It may not make a move right away. It may just be a range bound, like maybe 5-10 points plus minus. And then after a few weeks, it may try to, either depending on which side it is trading, 185 or a little bit lower, it may try to do lower, or it may try to go higher. Now, two things, what I'm seeing with this is NVIDIA represents two things. One is the chip industry, semiconductors, and it's the leader, and it's the top one, the star stock of the market. And second is the AI. It is also the star stock of the market. So let's say NVIDIA resolves to downside, or there is or the talks a little bit, the whatever they talk, it's a little bit hawkish, then it would mean the market is not healthy. Like, so what Peter Thiel did and all that, that is confirmation that what he did was right. Then it will be very, very bearish to the market. It will be very weak because your star stock is not doing well. That means what, the world is ending kind of sentiment people will have. Now, is it going to dump? How it is going to dump? That part I don't know, but that would can be the sentiment. So, and it's the holiday season, and our president is very much attached to the stock market, and any 100 point 200 point pullback, we get news, oh, we are rolling back the tariff, we are making the deal, all this is happening. So this has been the narrative. So if Nvidia speaks a little bit positive, the Nvidia stock may not move, but the market will hold. So this is how I am looking at things. Does it make sense?
As long as it does to you.
Yeah, definitely. It does make sense to me. And Nvidia is notorious to not giving a very big move, generally during the earnings, most quarters. So that is there. So I
They've
would for
been they've been beating every quarter, haven't they?
sorry, they have
They've
been what?
been beating estimates every
Yes,
quarter
yes.
by a
Beating the
lot.
estimate, yes. As I said, beating the estimate doesn't mean the stock movement immediately, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean that's the key. I mean, if they come
yeah,
in with good numbers and and there've been plenty of examples this earnings season of decent numbers and the stock's still getting hit,
yeah,
that would be a pretty bearish sign for
yeah,
probably 150. Uh, right?
yeah. Yes,
Is
153 is what I'm looking for. Below
is it
180.
worth betting on?
No, I won't, because number one, the options IV will be high. I mean, I will buy when it goes there, definitely, but
Okay.
options wise, I won't. I may skip the
So
trading because the earnings trade, the IVs will be too high, and then you buy further out, then you wait the stock to move. Rather, you do it
yeah,
after the stock is moving, whatever price. So that will
yeah.
be still much better play than, paying money for the big premium.
Okay.
Tesla, I know the
Yeah,
darling. Yeah, this was
well,
another one. It doesn't, it's not at all liking, um, what do you call
his pay deal.
453. Yeah, 453 to, upside. 453 to 485 is where it's not liking it. But from this perspective, if we see, it did test 80% up. Now it did come down to 381 to 385 zone, and that's where I had we had bought it up to test the high, and it went all the way till 412. Now again, the weakness is there, and so 361 is, I'm drawing the line in the sand. It's a very, very important number. Coming back from a lot of coming back from this time and this time, and again it was a good breakout. This monthly candle was good, and again it is trying to test waters, whether it wants to take out the high and it wants to test 361. So between 100 points, it is kind of chomping. Uh, if we still look at this monthly candle still looks good, and 361 is still the base, like Nvidia 153, Tesla 361. So this is what I'm looking at, and as long as it can go above 391, we can say, okay, you know what, it'll try to go higher or regain 400, 415. It captures and stays, it is good, and below that, your 361. So between these two numbers, which side it is going, that's where the direction will be. In between, it will still be chop. And Tesla options, again, very, very very bad options because they eat a lot. It's like Pac-Man, eat, eat, eat. So that's how it is. So I'm still waiting for the direction. November is almost ending. We have OPEX this week. We also have jobless number. I think it was delayed last week or something. So most likely they may bring up a November end rally, for example, before the Thanksgiving. Sometimes, happy turkey for everyone. That could be the narrative. So I'll just, in the meantime, just wait out a little bit and see, if the numbers are holding on the lower end side, and then we'll see if it goes. December, again, low volume, but only retail trading mostly. So, we can choose your stock, and if you're in options, buy longer term, at least targeting next earning in first quarter to not get burnt out immediately. So that's how I am looking at things.
Okay, there is an old Wall Street adage that isn't Happy Turkey Day. It says the bears feast on Thanksgiving and
Hmm.
the bulls on Christmas.
Yeah, it's generally
It's
what
just
we
a
think.
saying. It's
Yeah,
just
I
a
know.
saying. It's a saying like you're thinking it's going to be a Happy Turkey Day. So it may not be.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we can
Yeah,
only think and do. The market may do whatever it wants to do. The only thing is
yeah,
hindsight, basically.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it did that, it didn't do that, those kind of things. But if
Yeah.
you're in it,
Hmm?
no, I'm saying if you are in it, then the only thing you need to know is where is your risk and where you draw the line. That's all we can control.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Nargis?
You tell me what you want to look. These were the two main stocks mostly people. Oh, the Palantir is another darling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Palantir is coming off a very high RSI, 90, almost 95 plus. This also hit it actually it hit it didn't hit 211, right? It didn't hit 211. So it has not reset the cycle yet, but it did complete a cycle at 197, and we are getting the reaction. It did try to go as close to 211 but was not successful. The RSI was a lot of pressure, and again 160, 155, it is holding here, excuse me, and we have a big red candle until in December follows through and breaks this low. We would assume that it will hold here. Again, it is still chomping between 160 to 211. Now, for
Okay.
trading purposes, there could be a lot of points, but in terms of the stock direction, it is in a limbo because it has completed a cycle and it has not reset the cycle to a newer high. So that's there. So it is very important that either Palantir corrects back down, maybe early hundreds, and then try for 211, or right away go to hit 211, goes do some over spiking and then pull back. That can also happen. This is how generally the cycle works. It resets the cycle to higher, does a little bit, few numbers higher, and then it crashes back because everybody is, trying, the
In.
retail basically is trying to buy in, and that's where they say, okay, now we want to take your dollar. And that's generally what happens. So Palantir,
Would you consider this your technician a parabolic
yeah, yeah,
chart?
yeah, definitely, definitely. But what's happening these days is we are not getting a sharp correction as it is going up. Like, see, this went like one, two, three, four, fifth candle, right? So
Yeah.
it's not even one candle on quarterly. It is still on the upper side of
Yeah.
this candle, right? So that's there. So mostly they are trying to go sideways more than, release some pressure. So, like 151, this is 134, the high. No, sorry, 148 high. So it hasn't even come down to half of this previous quarterly. So, unless it happens there, we can still say, oh, it's a sideways action. Does this correct at some point? Yes, they do correct, but the timing would be not when we are expecting in our minds.
Okay. All right. Best way for people to follow you, Nargis, and be involved with you?
here, Nargis 007.
That's with two R's.
Yes, two
And
hours.
okay, and you have a website? It's at mystockcycles.com there.
Yes, I do have a website. Finally, I
Let's
got it made. Yeah,
let's see it. There you
y-
go.
yeah. It's pretty basic, yeah, but yeah, it's there. Something to, be proud of myself over the years.
Okay. Working hard and following the numbers.
Yes, so
Nargis 007. Go ahead.
yes. The only thing, yeah, I want to say since I do the cycles, it's mostly where the stock is in the cycle, right? So
Uh,
it's like of a kind of an horoscopic movement. So
Do you use do you
the
lose?
narrative may look boring, or this is only numbers, no fancy talks like, this and that, but that is how things are. And I try to put in uh, what the stock is doing or what the market is doing, and then expect what talks are going to come in. That way I don't kind of do the reverse. Oh, the stock is here, that the talks are happening in this way, hence the market is doing this way, or the stock is doing this way. I kind of expect, oh, Nvidia is completing a cycle, so what can we expect here? What kind of news it's going to come to make the stock take out the cycle price, or to give it a pullback? Those kinds.
Okay. And is it based on planetary work?
I don't know much planetary work except the basic ones like the moon cycle and
Yeah,
the retrogrades or that, because it's astrology is a very very deep subject,
yeah, it
and
is.
it's like going back to school. And plus, once your mind goes into that, you are too much dependent on it versus,
Yeah. Okay, I
yeah.
thought you mentioned something about planets when you were
Yeah,
describing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
were talking cycles and just
Yes, yes,
cycles.
yes. I do because the cycles definitely vibrate on the Mercury and Mars. So that's where your major ups and downs happen. So I do monitor those because surprisingly, the timing falls when the price is on those planets. So you could call it magic or something the universe works at. So like that. For example, I've been saying S&P ES 6889. It's not like for example. So I have been tweeting about 6889. It's not able to do it, and multiple times it has come to there, and it's been getting thrown off from below there. So that's where it's a very very strong number now. So what happens around it for the short term? It will set the direction. If it is not able to take out, and that's how we are going to pull back. And if it is trying to capture it, then your 7,000 will come. 7,000 will definitely come once it captures this, and it likes it. 7,037 to 72.25. So that's the upper
Okay,
target, and it has to break 67.25 to try to go lower and also sustain the red. The important thing is to sustain the red. It just goes 100, max 200, and then we are back
comes
to
back.
normal as if
Right.
nothing happened. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nargis.
Thanks,
I hope
Dale.
you I hope you have a great holiday season.
Same to
Nice
you, and
holiday.
happy holidays to you and everyone who's out there listening. And thanks for following me.
Yeah. Follow Nargis.
Thank you.
She has good numbers. And then you decide what to do with them.
Yes. No, I
Right?
generally put the direction as well. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'll be talking to you next year.
Thank you, Dale, and Happy New Year.
All right. Happy New Year to you. I hope that you and your followers, finish up the year in a in a flourishing ending with
Thank
lots
you.
of pips. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Nargis, follow her on X at NARRGIS 007. Check out her website and check out her numbers. Write them down, what we saw today, and see how the market reacts to them. She puts a lot of time and energy into it. So that's a wrap for me today. You could join the team in 15 minutes on the Morning Edge. Good luck the rest of the day. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios. And thanks again, Nargis. You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
everyone.